Hey everybody, it's Randy with Carchaeology, and I'm standing here in the lab with my 1925 Austin 7. This is one of the most important cars in British automotive history. It was the most affordable car at its time. It really did for Britain what the Model T did for the United States. It put a lot of people on wheels that didn't have the money for the magnificent motor cars that were out there. It was about creating a people's car, something that just general folks could use. And I bought this car earlier this year. I've always been attracted to these little tiny cars. I think they are incredibly cute. And anytime I've seen videos of people running and driving these things, they have a big crap-eating grin on their face, and everybody talks about how ridiculous fun it is to motor around in a little car like this. Now, obviously, you can actually bring people along with you. It's got the two seats up front. You could squish a couple people in the back here, whether you're doing it. Adults might be a little tight back there. The horsepower of this engine is very minimal. You're not going to go anywhere fast. But if you're driving around town and have a good time, it is really a fun car to motor about in. And yesterday, my brother and I took this car up to Arcadia, California, which is up near Pasadena, for an event that's been going on since the 1950s. This was the 68th annual Holiday Motor Excursion for the Horseless Carriage Club of America. And obviously this is the Southern California chapter that does this. But they started in the 1950s when car collecting was really starting to come up. People were collecting these cars that at that point were 50 years old or so and starting to preserve them, enjoy them, and collect them. And over the years, obviously, as cars have changed, passions have changed, what people collect has changed, but there has always been a really strong bunch of people that are into the earliest bits of motoring. And that's what this event is all about. They do a cutoff point of 1932, and the car has to be stock and original, not modified, so no hot rods. You can't show up with a 32 Ford with a small block Chevy in it. They put you out in the parking lot. Now, at the start of the event, they invite everybody to come to be there. But when it comes to the tour itself, they try to keep it as pure as possible when it comes to motoring with true antique automobiles. So I didn't get a full count of the event yesterday, but I want to say there were probably 60, maybe 80 cars that were 32 and older that were all original. There were probably another 50 cars or so that just came to show up for the very start of the event and to see everybody off. And I'd say on the tour, gosh, I'm going to guess maybe about 40 of these cars actually went on the tour. So it was roughly 30 miles through Southern California streets. We did a lot of stuff driving through Pasadena area. We went by the Rose Bowl. We went by where they're preparing the floats for the Rose Parade. We even drove on a little bit of the parade route, saw the grandstands and stuff for the Rose Parade that's going to happen in a couple of days. We made a stop at a local park to get coffee and donuts. We made another lunch stop at a fantastic restaurant that is kind of a staple of Southern California there, Clearman's Northwoods Inn, which is a time capsule of a place with fantastic food. And then from there, we went over to one of the club members' houses where he's got a fantastic workshop with his vintage automobiles there. And we got a little tour of that and had a bit of dessert. So it was an absolute blast to do this. I mean, my gosh, we showed up bright and early in the morning. I didn't drive the car all the way out there. It's about 100 miles from here to start. So I put it in the trailer. We parked the truck and trailer a couple blocks away, crank started the little Austin, and then rolled into the scene. Now, it's really fun showing up in a car that's as unique as this because, I mean, it's so small and it's so fun and so adorable to the crowd. And it was also fun to see just how small it is compared to a Model T or some of the bigger brass era cars. At one point, we pulled up at the park to get the donuts and coffee, and we parked right behind a 1924 Rolls-Royce. This is a Springfield-bodied Rolls-Royce, phenomenal automobile. And this little thing pulling up right behind it, to me, it looked like this was the dinghy behind the massive motor yacht that was right in front of me. And the cool part about it was having the conversation with the owner of that Rolls. He saw me pull up in the Austin, and he said, you know what? That was one of the most important British cars of all time. And he was really fond of seeing the little car out there on the road, just as fond of this as I was excited to see his magnificent Rolls Royce. So it was a really, really positive, wonderful event to get these cars out, play with them in a happy environment. Everybody was very welcoming. There's old folks, there's young folks, there's families. Everybody's dressed up in period attire. Well, not everybody, but some folks are dressed up in period attire. And we drove about 30 miles through some fantastic neighborhoods, massive homes there in Southern California. Just gorgeous, gorgeous places. We drove through towns where there were people out and about having coffee and having their breakfast. Cell phone cameras came out everywhere we went, all smiles on the whole trip through. I've got to say the little Austin handled it well. My brother and I were both pretty sizable guys, wedged in there and drove it the whole 30 miles. It ran fantastic, no big issues. At a couple of the stops, I managed to even get it started with the first crank, which was kind of a win for me, especially when there's people out there watching. But it was a really, really cool day of motoring in these historic automobiles. I mean, this little thing is going to be 100 years old here in 2025. It was just a couple of days. And I've got to say, this is kind of a call out to automotive enthusiasts out there. If you've not experienced a car of this age, I suggest you do it. Either find somebody that's got one and ask for an opportunity to drive it. Get out and experience where motoring really started. And a lot of the collectors of these cars now are getting quite old themselves. So this is a phenomenal opportunity to get into some of these pre-war cars and even some of the pre-World War II, World War I cars, and at a reasonable rate. And these are cars that really need to be out in the world. They need to be shared with other people. And it was so fun to do just that. I mean, to pull up at a stoplight in this little thing, and there's some young couple in their Honda Civic, and they roll down the window and they're like, damn, that thing is really, really cool. And they were asking questions about it and all of that. That's how you breed interest in this world. That's how you get people that are going to save these cars. That's how the whole history of automotive machines gets saved and gets shared with other people. So definitely go check out a good teens or 20s era car, or even something right around the turn of the century. There were some cars there that were from the really early 1900s. The steam cars were fantastic to see. I mean, some of that stuff is really expensive. Not everybody can get into it. But this little bugger here, I think I paid $6-7 for it. And it was something that was a joy to drive all day long. You can buy Model Ts for the same kind of money, sometimes even a little cheaper. And it is hilarious to drive these cars. You see where motoring started. You understand the process of driving these things is pretty fun. You're not going anywhere fast, but they're actually pretty damn reliable. And the other thing that's really super cool about these cars is when something breaks, it's pretty obvious what it is, because there's no superfluous anything on this. When the carburetor isn't working, the carburetor is right there. Every little bit is easy to figure out if you have basic mechanical skills. And also, there's still a great group of people out there that are supporting these cars. The Horseless Carriage Club that sponsored this event is a fantastic group of people. And a lot of the old guys there are absolutely dying to share their knowledge with younger people. And we should all soak it up. Not that I'm a younger guy at this point, but, time ticks on. In any case, that was my story here with the Austin 7 and the Holiday Motor Excursion. I'm going to follow this up with a couple short little videos of some of the cars moving about. Obviously, during this video, I've patched in a couple of other little clips of some of the cars that we pulled up around. But it was awesome. It was a great way to close 2024. One of my favorite events of the year, and a perfect end to a fantastic year of playing with cars. And I want to thank all of you that have watched and followed my travels through all of this crazy year of stuff. It's been a spectacular one. It's been really fun. If you saw the video I posted a couple days ago with kind of some highlights, you can see some of the places that I've been. But I'm always looking forward to what's next. And there's some great stuff that's going to happen in 2025, and I can't wait to share that all with you. In fact, this week, just after the 1st, I'm going to go off on a great adventure to find a fantastic barn find car that I've always dreamed of having. I'm going to bring it back to the lab here, hopefully make it a running, driving car again, and fulfill a dream that I've had since I was just a little kid. So in any case, thanks again for watching. Please keep on digging them up and driving them. Happy New Year to every single one of you. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.